This is Wet Notes here on Scuba Shack Radio for Monday, May 9th, 2022. First up, you may recall that last month I told you about a survey that the Dive Equipment and Marketing Association, or DEMA, put out to all of its members, asking if they thought the DIMA show should be open to consumers. Well, the results are back. Overall, 62% of the respondents opposed the idea, while 32% voted yes, with 6% uncertain. Diving a little deeper into the numbers, it looks like manufacturers, training organizations, and travel members were split about 50-50, give or take a few points. But when it came to us, retailers, the numbers were dramatic. 80% of us opposed the idea of opening up the show to consumers. Interestingly, most respondents said that COVID-19 hadn't changed their opinion. With these numbers in hand, the DEMA board unanimously voted to maintain the show as a trade-exclusive event. I've got to say, I'm very happy with the outcome, and I'm looking forward to heading to Orlando in November for DEMA Show 2022. Also, from DEMA's Public Policy Digest was a story coming out of Hawaii. The Public Policy Digest provides an overview of recent public policy and legislative actions being tracked by the organization. Well, it seems that several Hawaii businesses are suing the federal government for a regulation that bans swimming with spinner dolphins. Now, this regulation went into effect in September 2021. The complaint against the government said that the person who issued the ruling, a guy named Samuel Rosh, who is the Deputy Assistant Administrator for Regulatory Programs at the National Marine Fisheries Service, doesn't have the authority to issue such a directive. The three women bringing the suit have businesses that rely on dolphin encounters and claim their revenue has drastically decreased since the directive was issued. Now, the reason for the rule concluded that allowing people to swim with the dolphins may lead them to expend energy they need to care for their young or to eat, and they concluded that this was illegal harassment. I'm not too sure about that. Here's some more evidence that our environment is seriously being impacted by climate change. CNN recently did a story on how Lake Mead has plummeted to a record low, to a level where the original 1971 water intake valve is located. Now you can see a picture of it sitting above the water line. With the western U.S. in the grips of a climate change-fueled megadrought, things don't look like they'll get better anytime soon. Now, the valve was put into service in 1971 as a way to draw water that the Southern Nevada Water Authority needs to supply the 2.2 million people it serves, including Las Vegas. The drought is intensifying, and it's not even summer yet. The report indicated that New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado are all experiencing extreme or exceptional drought, and those are the two worst ratings. Now, they did anticipate something like this and started to install a new valve at the Lower Lake pumping station in 2020, and they are now using that. The question remains, how long will it be until the next crisis? It seems everything out west is drying out. Ocean Reef, the maker of full face masks for diving, just announced that they have a new dive light that integrates into their face mask. It's called the Vesper. The light attaches to the inside of the mask just above your eyes. It has three 30-lumen LED lights, giving you a total of 90 lumens. It's pretty compact and uses a 3.7-volt rechargeable battery. The battery uses a USB cable, and it takes about 45 minutes to fully charge the light. It is also depth rated to 180 feet. Now, I don't recall seeing any burn time on the light. Ocean Reef put out a short 7-minute video that takes you through the components, installation, and operation. It's kind of interesting how they activate the light with an infrared sensor. They were very adamant that this light is not intended as a primary dive light. Overall, if you have an Ocean Reef full face mask, you might want to consider looking at the Vesper light. I get these periodic updates from the Coral Restoration Foundation, or CRF, and the last one that I received was bringing it back in May with the Coral Chronicles. In this Coral Chronicles, they gave an update on their outplanting efforts related to boulder coral. It seems that in a single day, 5 CRF divers planted 565 boulder coral fragments on both Looe Key Reef and New Harbor Reef in the lower Florida Keys. Now, this is an amazing event and represents over 10% of their goal of 5,000 outplantings of boulder coral in 2022. Additionally, they are already more than halfway to their goal with 2,552 so far this year. Now, each outplanting is about the size of a quarter. Boulder coral is very slow growing at only a few inches over a 9 to 12 month period, and it can take hundreds of years to form. But the team at CRF is making great progress as they efficiently return their brood stock to the wild. And finally, here's a bit of good news coming out of Dutch Springs in Bethlehem, PA, at least when it comes to scuba diving. Several months ago, I told you about how Stu Schooley had sold the property and it would probably not be open this year. Well, we got an email from Stu this past week, and he informed us that the sale of the property is still pending and that after April 30th, if the deal wasn't done, then they would be able to open up Dutch Springs for scuba diving. Because of the nature of the agreement, Dutch will be opening up on May 12, 2022, and will be on a 3-week rolling schedule. The developer needs to give Stu a 3-week notice, so each Sunday, if the deal isn't finalized, then they will open up another week. If you had previously purchased season passes or tickets, you can't use them. You must request a refund. The cost to go diving will be $65 if you get your tickets online, or $75 if you buy them at the gate. Stu did inform us that Lancaster Scuba in Pennsylvania is operating 2 other sites, Lake Allure in Quarryville, PA, and Willow Springs at Meyertown Lake. Not sure if we'll make it down, but it looks like there's one more hurrah for Dutch Springs before Stu heads off into the sunset. Well, that's it for this edition of Wet Notes here on Scuba Shack Radio.